What's going on, guys? My name is Jay, and in this video I want to teach you a little bit about Sass, which is like CSS with superpowers. Here you can see that I have a very basic HTML site. You can see that I'm requesting a style.css, which is not here. Before we start, I want you to download this app. It's called Koala. The link is on the description of this video. It's a free app available for Mac and Windows. This is the app that we're going to use to kind of compile our Sass to CSS. So go download the app, install the app, and after you have the app opened, you can just click on this plus sign, look for a folder. You can see that the only thing I have is an index.html file. Just select that folder. I already have my folder open, so I don't have to do it. But that's it. And now go to your text editor, create a new file, save that empty file as style.sass. All right, it doesn't have to be style, but you know, that's kind of a generic name. I'm gonna click save. And now I have my style.sass file. All right, I'm gonna go back to Koala. I'm gonna click refresh, and now we can see my style.sass. I'm gonna click on it. You have some options here. Auto compile is very important, and you can just play with these other options here. I'm just gonna leave them like that, but auto compile is because when you save the file here on your text editor, it's gonna get compiled automatically. You don't need to open the app and click a button or nothing like that, okay? So I'm gonna click compile just one time. All right, set success. And now if you notice, now we have this style.css created. All right, and it's empty because our Sass file is empty. So let's start with something. All right, so we have a container here. We have a container, we have an h1 paragraph and a button. So let's go and put like container. And I don't know, like a background. All right, with a, let's say like black background, and a maximum width of like 600 pixels, something like that. Let's save it. Now I'm gonna go to my style.css, and look at this. We have regular CSS created for us. And you're thinking like, but why do you want me to do this if it's kind of the same thing? We're just adding some brackets and semicolons. Yes, don't worry, we're gonna add some powers later and you're gonna understand why Sass is amazing. So we can start by creating some variables, which is like, you know, things that we're gonna use over and over and over again. Like colors, for example, you use colors over and over again. So let's start creating colors. So I'm gonna use $, the number that you want for that color. I mean, the name that you want can be dark, for example, for a dark color. You can be creative and put whatever you want. This one's gonna be this color. A lighter color, let's call it light. Whoops, remember that $sign at the beginning of the name of that variable. Let's say F1, 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 which is a very light color. Let's use like a pink color. There's gonna be like a B3. I think this is like a pink color, I think. All right, we're gonna see it later. So now you can do something like this. For example, I'm gonna remove this hex code from here. I'm just gonna use dark. Let's save it. And now we have the 333 because that's this code. And let's say that, for example, you have like 100 of these different containers. I don't know. Let's say that you have more code with more dark on it. All right, let's say that you have container 2, container 3, and all of them have dark colors on it. I'm gonna save. Let's see how this looks. All right, so this is a very cool moment to let you know that nesting is very important. We have an error. If you go to your style, you're gonna see something like this. And it's because of the nesting. Here's letting you know where is the error. And it's because like you see all this space, that space is needed. So Sass understand that this code is inside this container. So we're gonna move it. We're gonna save it now. And let's see. All right, now you can see now it's working. So please remember that the nesting is very important. Now, if I go back and change these to like a red, for example, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna go back to my style CSS. Now everything is red. So now you can think like, okay, this is very helpful because if you have like a lot of CSS in a huge file and there is a primary color that your theme is using, you can just change it if you need to change it here and that's it. It will change on every single one, okay? Let me remove all this. Let's go back to the dark. Let's go back to the dark side. Oops, sorry. All right, that's it. Let me save it again, make sure that everything looks good. Yeah. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna show you how you can import an external file with all these variables. So I'm just gonna create a new file, empty file, I'm gonna save it. And now we're gonna use underscore and whatever you want. Let's say that you're gonna have only colors inside that file. It can be colors.sass. Okay, save it. The underscore is because you want the app, like for example, whatever app you're using to compile your Sass, to ignore this file, because if not, it's gonna create like a colors.css and you don't want that. All right, you don't want that because you only want one file. And then you want everything inside that style CSS file, okay? So I'm just gonna cut. I'm gonna cut this, cut it from there. I'm gonna put it here inside the colors.css. I'm gonna save this. And now what we're gonna need is we need to import that color CSS file so we can use it. Because if not, you're gonna get an error that, you know, this dark is kind of nothing. There's nothing there. So we're gonna do add import colors. Save it. That's it. Let's take a look. Yep, and it's working. So we're getting all the colors from this import colors file, and now we can use it on whatever we want. We have now on our container, let's put like a color, like the text color. It can be like that light color, which we have here. Let's save it. Let's go to our page. Let's see how it looks. So this is how it looks right now. Let's reload the page. And there you go. It's working. Let's center this. So we can just go and say margin 0 automatic. There we go. Let's add some padding. Padding 20 pixels. That's it. It's a lot better. And now inside the container, we have an h1, which is the title. So I'm gonna go here, h1. And then inside the h1, I'm gonna do like color and the pink. This pink that we're using here. I'm gonna save it. Let's go to style CSS to see how this looks. So look at this. It created like a container with h1 and added that color. Now take a look at this. This is what I'm telling you about the importance of nesting. All right. So if I do this and save it, look what's gonna happen. Now we have the h1 all alone. So it's not inside the container, which is not what we want. We want to style the h1 inside the container. So you need to nest it, okay? It needs to be here inside the container. So let's save it. And now we have what we want, okay? That's very, very important. So let's go back to the website. Let's see how it looks. Awesome. We have a pink title. All right. Now we're gonna create like a whole block of code that we want to use again and again and again. So something like the variables, but instead of this, is gonna be like a whole block of code, okay? And those are called mixins, all right? So let's do, I'm gonna do because we have a button right here. So inside the container, we have an A, and let's give it a background of like a background color of light, for example. Whoops, sorry. All right, let's see if it works. Yep, now we have the container A and a background color of light. Let's reload the page, and it's working, perfect. Now, I wanna add more code here, but in a different way, because I'm gonna use it all over again and again. So let's create a new file. Let's save it. Same thing as colors underscore, but let's call this one mixins, for example. You can call it whatever you want. And in here, I'm gonna code something that I know I'm gonna use again and again and again, like a whole block of code. So it's gonna be equal whatever name you want. So I'm gonna call it cool button. That's just an example. And now here it can be like the color of the text. It can be like that light color. Let's add some border radius, 8 pixels, some padding. Let's say 10 pixels. Font size, 18 pixels, and display block, because that's gonna look weird if we don't. Inline block. All right, so now we have this mixin Sass file. We're gonna do the same thing again. So I'm gonna go add import mixins, just like that. I'm gonna save that. And now what we can do here, if I wanna add this whole block of code down here, I'm gonna do +, cool button. All right, now let's notice that we have only a background color. So I'm gonna add that + and cool button, calling this mixin, this one right here. I'm gonna save it. Let's go back to the style CSS. And now you can like see that it added all the code that we have in this mixin. For example, if you have another thing that you want to add all that code for some reason, like for example the container, I can do + cool button. I'm gonna save it. And now you can see that we have all that code inside the container too. All right. I'm gonna remove it because I don't need it. So remove it from the container, save it. Very cool. Let's go and reload the page. And look at this. We need like a dark color. Oh, I add color. Nope, let's change it to dark. Save. Let's go back. There you go. So now let's go and do something interesting. We have this button, right? How about adding a hover state to this button? So look at this. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna get an ampersand and add that pseudo class of hover. And I'm gonna go inside that. I'm gonna do like, let's say background color, that dark color, for example, and the color is gonna be the light color. Let's save that. Oops, it's not light, it's a light. Save it again, all right? And look at this. We have container A and the hover. Perfect. With that little trick of ampersand hover. Oops, sorry. We're telling Sass to like add all this, all that I'm coding here to this hover and put it in there. And we have this container A hover. So let's go and see if it works. Yeah. Works perfect. You know what? Let's change it to black. So here's the thing. If for some reason you don't like the dark and you want to change it, you can just go ahead and add whatever color you want. All right. Now, the only thing that people use these variables is that easier to change. So let's say that if you don't want this dark color anymore, you can go to color and change it dark. And if you have 1,000 dark colors here are going to change too. All right, so it's very helpful, but you need to be careful using the color again and again and again. All right, let's go back. Yep, it works. Now, last thing that I want to show you is that you can do some math. All right, so let's say we have max width of 600 pixels. I can do by 2. So I'm gonna save that and let's see. And now it said math width 1,200 pixels instead of 600 because I multiply it by 2. You can do plus 100 and you have 700. So I think it's awesome. I think it's very cool that you can do all these things and you can have variables and you can share it. And then at the end, you have a CSS file that you can use for your website. And you have a very, very clean code that it looks very cool. Plus, it's gonna help you a lot with a big, big project. So that's it. Subscribe if you want to keep learning and click on the bell icon to receive notifications every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful day. Bye bye.